Hello, everyone, and welcome to Home Based Business Review with Carl Douglas. I uh, I want you to go get a piece of paper and pencil because I got a special guest here. He's a master marketer. You guys heard of him. His name is Daniel Kump, and you. This is going to be the second part of an updated version of strategies that you should have, and it's going to talk about the problems you're addressing. So I'm going to bring Daniel Kump right on the line right now with us. Daniel, how you
Hey,
doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
You know what? I'm doing excellent. It's always good to get up in the morning and smell that coffee and see the sun come up. It's a beautiful feeling.
Yep. And I got the
Daniel,
sun comes up literally right in front of my house right out over here. So I'm actually looking out the window, although it's been up for a couple hours now, but yeah.
yeah, and there's a lot of people that's watching this show right now that are sitting there and they're going, "Wow, Daniel Kump! Oh, I hear so much about him and what he has done, his accomplishments." But we all understand, Daniel, you had problems in the beginning. And we're going to talk about, if they haven't seen some of our recordings before, but we're going to talk about the problems people face when they're trying to do a business online. And
Mhm.
once this is some of the things they're going to hear today. And also we're going to talk about solutions to those problems.
Yep.
And without mentioning anything about what we're doing, but we're just going to talk about that for them. The floor is yours, Daniel.
Copy that. Yeah, I think first got started back in 2016. It's easy to get, we'll just call it swayed into making money online. It's such a big generic term and it sounds really cool and it sounds really easy. And ultimately it can be easy. But when I first got started, if I were to go back and I looked at that first year, because I basically got started in January, the very beginning of 2016. And if I look back over that whole first year, I signed up for, I would say, at least a dozen, if not 15 or so different business opportunities. And I thought that each one that I signed up for was going to be like the ticket home, the ticket to freedom. And I also was under the impression that just because I signed up, I was going to make money. Just because I had a website link, I was under the impression that just because I had a link that people were just going to automatically go to it. And then it took me a little while, but I quickly realized that that was not the case. I actually had to put some work in and get people to my website link. And then it was, well, how do I do that? Like, where do I go for that? What's the key? Like, what does that activity actually look like? So there was a lot of trial and error back in 2016 of just trying to figure out how this whole thing actually works, and I think that's 100% still the case today, where it's not like times have changed and all of a sudden people get it and they're like, "Oh," and it makes more sense, but we have a little more education now. I have a little more education. That's kind of what I try to teach to people is like, there is some work that you're going to have to do. You are going to have to put some efforts into it, but we've simplified that process for you a lot. But I think nowadays, like what you might be seeing as the viewer on the outside is still kind of the same. You see somebody or someone, or you see a flashy sales video that paints this picture perfect life of people out there. You hear the cliche phrase of on the beaches of the world, and they get to travel the world and, go do what they want, when they want, with who they want, because they don't have a job and they're living that, big crazy lifestyle. Some of that is true, but it's really only a very small fraction of people that actually get to that point. But I think a lot of people are looking for that easy button, the easy button, the commercial from Staples. Like, you just push the button and all of a sudden you have like instant overnight success. And that's 100% not the case. But I think that's the conception that people think is out there. They can literally push a button and all of a sudden they're rich. It's lottery ticket thinking or scratch ticket mentality. And it's also the equivalent of putting in the bare minimum effort and hoping for the maximum result. And I think when you go into something with that attitude, that mindset of, hey, I don't even have to work here, I could do next to nothing and I could make a ton of money, it's just the wrong level. It's the wrong wavelength of thinking. And when people go into something, when people start an online business with that mindset, 99% of the time it leads to failure. And I think that's why the failure rate is so high, is just it starts with a misconception of what it actually takes to get results online. And what it actually takes to get results online is doing specific things consistently day in and day out. And towards the tail end of 2016, that's what I began to learn. I began to learn that there were daily activities that I should be doing. We'll call them IPAs, not the beer, income producing activities, daily activities that you should be doing each and every day to build and grow your business. And if you stay consistent with those, you start to build and grow your business over time. And once you learn those and you understand those and you start doing those, then it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, once you figure out what those daily income producing activities actually are. And what Carl and I talked about here in another video is, having a system to show people what those income producing activities are is extremely helpful. And that's what's been very helpful for me and my team over the years, is giving them literally for free, giving them a system that they can use that walks them through day by day, step by step, the income producing activities that they should be doing every day, every single day. So to kind of wrap up, why a lot of people fail, it's because they don't understand what those, to try to keep it as simple as possible. They don't understand that, number one, yes, there are income producing activities that you should be doing every single day. And two, what those income producing activities actually are, what it looks like, and how you can go do it, and how it's really not that difficult. You just have to go do it. And then, which we can kind of dive into and really start to peel back the onion here, there's one underlying factor with all of that. So, you could have the simplest income producing activities on earth. It could be simple, easy to understand, easy to go do, easy to replicate, not complicated, all that sort of good stuff. But if you don't have this one underlying thing that you're doing every single day, along with, and that's the big key here. So if you're paying attention, pay attention to that, along with your income producing activities. If you're not doing this one singular thing, it doesn't matter how great the business is. It doesn't matter how great the commissions are. It doesn't matter how simple the income producing activities are. It doesn't matter how simple the training system is. None of that stuff matters. If you don't do this one thing, then you're going to fail. It's not a matter of if you're going to fail, you're going to fail. And the only way to fail, by the way, is to quit, is to stop moving forward, is to give up on yourself. That is the only way to fail, because otherwise, you don't fail because of somebody else. You fail because of yourself, because you stop moving forward. You quit, you gave up. You gave up on yourself. You gave up on your family. You gave up on your future, on your commissions, on your potential. You gave up on those things. So it's actually, you didn't fail, you quit, because the only way to fail is to quit. So what do you got, Carl?
Yeah, you know what you just said is so important. I'm sure a lot of those people who want this knowledge, just writing it down. You learn from winners. You learn from great people, right? Let's take a look at some of the great people in the world who struggled, but they didn't quit. They kept going, like Michael Jordan. I mean, think about that for a second. He wasn't a great basketball player in the beginning, right? And look at Muhammad Ali, look at Mike Tyson, look at all these people who struggled and they brought their greatness was inside themselves, and they just released it, right? And everybody who's watching this right now, they understand they have a passion. But the reason why you guys don't start, because you have fear. You're surrounded by those people who are telling you, why are you doing it? Why are you going to let them talk to you? These people are not qualified to give you advice. Why are you listening to them? Okay, I always say that. And so when you look at those people like myself, like Daniel, everybody, we did not wake up with a silver spoon to put in our mouth. We brought that silver spoon to our family. We feed our family. Daniel, you just bought a home, didn't you? And Daniel, the reason why you guys understand, a lot of my guests, they all have stories, but it seemed like the harder their story of struggle seemed like the greater they became. I mean, that's really that's awesome, you know. And but you can't stop. You know, did Bill Gates stop? You know, that all these great people you see in the world, did they stop? No, they kept going. So Daniel, let's talk about when you join a company, you're not just joining the company, you're joining the leadership. You're part of that team. You're joining a team. And I know for a fact that if you don't have these things in place, you are going to fail because you hang around people, like I said, not qualified to give you advice because they
Mhm.
never got there. They're trying to get there. But if you're with somebody who's there and they're willing to teach you, I always say, just close your eyes, listen, and close your mouth. I mean, open your eyes. You got to feel it, right? You
Yep.
have to feel it. And when you talk, Daniel, um, I'm sure a lot of them feel it because a lot of people are emailing me and saying, "We like Daniel Kump. We like Daniel Kump." and but but just hearing a person, it's like sitting down watching a Netflix, right? And you're just sitting there binge watching, and you just froze. But it's not going to help you. You gotta take that. You gotta get in the game. You gotta get in the
Yeah.
basketball football game. You gotta get in there. If you don't get in there, the key here is a lot of people say I'm fear, but it's called procrastination. You know what that is? I'm going to say this. I'm going to get back to you, Daniel. Do you know how you can kill procrastination? You just get started. You start.
Yeah. Action cures fear.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it 100 times in our trainings over the years, like, um, action cures fear. But most importantly, like a lot of people, they're really great at watching videos. And especially in today's day of, Hulu and Netflix, there's a lot of people that are really good at watching training videos. And I've had people even message me, text me and be like, "Hey, I watched every video in the training site." And I said, "Great. How many videos have you put out? How many pieces of content have you put out?" "Oh, well, I haven't started doing that yet." I said, "Great. Congratulations on literally doing nothing." Like, you don't earn money from watching videos. Watching training videos, you could watch them 1,000 times and take no action and make no money. So you got to take the action. And that's what's important about our training videos too. Like, we specifically say in each training section, do not move on to the next training section until you've completed the step, meaning you've done the actual activity. Because if you just watch video after video after video after video after video and you take no action, you being there is pointless, because again, you're just binge watching and it makes you no money. You got to take the action. But a lot of people are scared and nervous to take that action, but action cures fear. And once you go do it, the next time you do it, it's a little easier. The time you do it after that, it's a little easier. And each time you do it, it gets a little easier and a little easier. And pretty soon, what you feared isn't fearful anymore. It's just easy to do. It becomes routine. And when it becomes routine, that's when cool things start to happen. So to Carl's point, he had mentioned Michael Jordan. What a lot of people don't realize is, like, he got where he was because of practice and routine. And, it's easy to think like, oh, he's great. Like Kobe's great. Beyonce is great. All these people are great. They didn't just wake up great. They practice and earned their way to where they are. You don't see the behind the stuff and the stuff that they're working on every single day, getting up at 4 a.m. and going to practice. Michael Jordan would shoot 1,500, whatever the number is. I think it's around 1,500 free throws a day, like not a month, not a week, a day, 1,500 shots. That's how he got so good, because he practiced religiously every single day and he took so many shots, more shots than anybody else. That's how he's the greatest basketball player of all time. And I know some people will be like, "Oh, LeBron," but it's like, either way, like both of those people, they just practice, 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 practice. And it's the same thing with having a business online. You don't just, like, and we've talked about this in other interviews. You don't just start and, you're not great the very first day you start. You don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to be great. Write that down. It's very important. That's a
That's
Les
correct.
Brown line right
That's
there.
correct. What you guys are getting is a word of wisdom from marketers who's who's basically there already, and they are coming down to help you. Um, those of you sitting there been looking, dreaming about what you want. Like I always talk about those buildings, those homes. Somebody envisioned that as a something they wanted to basically do, but they took action. They took action and they found a way to build those buildings, those homes. Think about it. Look outside your window. Look when you're driving in your car. Look around. All those homes was somebody dream, and they just made it happen. Okay, right now, those who are listening to us talk, I'm sure that a lot of you have dreams, but you're scared, right? You know what? One thing, you have to take chances in life. You really do. And you know how you get that job and you start on the first day and you're like, wow, where's the time clock? Or who do I report to every day? What am I supposed to do? Day one, you're not an expert in that field, but if you work that job, let's say 3 or 4 months go by, and then you find yourself, looking at somebody who just came to the company, like next to your cubicle or your front or back or your side of the cubicle, and you're looking like an expert. And they're looking at you, can you help me? Think about that for a second, because what you have here on this call is we've been doing this for a while and we can help you. That's what we're here to do.
As long as you want to help yourself.
Yeah, it starts with you.
Mhm.
It's your fault. I mean, it's not your fault you were born poor. I always say this. But if you die poor, whose fault is it? Who are you going to blame? You're going to leave all these things back there with your loved ones. They're going to be in debt because a lot of times people, when they die unexpectedly and they got debt. And guess who's going to have to pay those debts up? Think about that for a second.
Yep.
Why would you do that?
Let me circle back to the underlying factor, which I talk about, which is obviously you have the income producing activities that you're doing every single day. And that's what you actually do. And, if you're on our team, we give you that. We show, we literally give you that for free. We give you the team training site, walk you through the income producing activities, walk you through on video, show you exactly how to do them, follow them step by step, day by day, click by click. So as long as you can literally watch and go do, you can do this. You can do this, literally the same thing that we're doing. You'll work right alongside us. And you hopefully you should know this. You are a reflection of the 5 closest people to you. So if you're hanging around 5 broke people complaining every day, you're going to be the 6th. If you're hanging around 5 rich people, 5 successful people, you're going to be the 6th. And as long as you stay in that circle and you keep working, and this is going to transition right into my main point here. If you keep working at that every single day, then you're going to be the 6th. You're going to be that next in line because of the position that you've put yourself in. So, you could do the income producing activities every single day, but there's an underlying factor that you need to know and really understand. So let this part sink in. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business. And I've shared this in other videos and I'll continue to say it until the day I die. You got to work harder on this right here, your own mindset and your attitude. You work on that harder than you work on the business, meaning harder than you work on the income producing activities, harder than you work on, the content, the videos, the hashtags, the social platforms and building your brand and all that other stuff. Work harder on your own mindset and attitude than anything else. And all of that fear, all of that doubt, all of those insecurities, all of that info overwhelm, all of that uncertainty, all of that in time will fade away. All of the, I don't know how, I'm not sure, I don't think this is working. All of that in time will fade away the more you work on your own mindset and attitude. So you can see me here. I have books over here. Like they look cool on the shelf, but it's not just there for show. I've actually read all of those books. A lot of those books I have on audio and I listen to the audio while I read them, or while I'm sitting here at my desk every morning writing emails, I'll have the audios playing in the background. Invest into yourself every single day. And this is super critical and important. Always invest into yourself. It's one of the only places that you're guaranteed a positive return. Food for thought right there. So think about the harder you can work on yourself. Now, I'll give you some examples. How do you do that? What does it look like to work on yourself? If you're working a job when I used to commute back in 2016, when I was commuting to my job, I was driving an hour to work and an hour home. I wouldn't listen to news radio. I wouldn't listen to rock radio. I wouldn't listen to any music. I was listening to personal development audios, books like, books on tape, like Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki, The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, Mark Manson, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I would read those books. I would listen to those audios, and every single day I would listen to and or read personal development audios. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on, but constantly investing into yourself and putting that into action every single day. If you do that, and if you work harder on yourself, harder than you work on your daily income producing activities, it's not a matter of if you're going to find success. It's just a matter of when.
Creating that appetite, you get hungry. You're going to get hungry. When you read one book, you want to read another one. You want to read another one. And it's going to change that mindset of yours. It just, and Daniel, you're talking about things that you are attracted to, and it just spills out of you.
Mm-hmm.
It just transformed you, and just spills out of you. And you are, to me, you're a great person already, because I've been working with you for a while now, and and you still going like this. You are still going like that, okay? Because of what you're bringing in. You're bringing in more of this experience. You're bringing in your feeling. People feel you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this to everyone who's watching this: if you can feel what you want, you can accomplish what you want. Tap into it. You got the power. Tap into it.
Well, and we kind of end with this. Like, here's a great goal. I want everybody to think of, and then I'll tie it all down. I want you to think of your perfect, and you can email this to Carl. Think of your perfect monthly income. We won't even call it a goal. We'll just call it your perfect monthly income. If you could make any amount of money every single month, what would that be? Now, don't just think about it. What I want you to do is I want you to pull out a pen, piece of paper, and I actually want you to write it down. And then, so if you're watching this replay somewhere, comment that down below. Comment what you would like that income level to be, whether it's, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $25,000 a month, $15,000 a month, whatever that number is. Think about it for a second, write it down, and then comment it or email it or whatever it is, whatever call to action is around or below this video. Take that action and then get it out there, put it out there in the world. Now, here's the important part. Whatever number you just came up with, the reason why, and this is a psychological thing, you can go look this up if you want to, the number that you just came up with, the reason that you came up with that number is you are capable of achieving it, because your brain wouldn't give you a number that you're not capable of achieving. Notice you didn't come up with, I want to make $10.7 million a month. You don't come up with that number because that's just not reality. But if you wanted to make $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, even $100,000 a month, your brain comes up with that number because you are capable of achieving it. So that's some real life data right there. So the number that you just wrote down, you are capable of hitting it. So believe in yourself, my friend. You can do it. Now you just got to go do it.
Thank you. You know what? The mic dropped. Matter of fact, the whole stand dropped. You heard the Temptations. They all have 5 mics. They all dropped. But Daniel, we're always happy to have you and discuss your accomplishments and your skills. I'm sure that a lot of you are sitting there watching this, and we're going to bring Daniel back because I know you want to hear more. But if you want to know what he's doing, there's another recording that we are going to put up, and you can get more about what he's doing, and we'll just take it from there. But right now, Daniel, we're going to thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom.
No problem.
And we're going to have you back. Would you like to come back again, Daniel?
I guess so, man. It works every time we do it. So
yes, it does. It does. Well, listen, we'll talk to everyone later. And right now, thanks again. See you guys soon.